strange and beautiful person. We know what he looked like from many a poem. A young man with the first down upon his cheek when youth is loveliest, carrying, as no other young man ever did, a wand of gold with wings at one end, wearing a winged hat, too, and winged sandals. At sight of him, hope must have entered Perseus's heart, for he would know that this could be none other than Hermes, the guide and the giver of good. This radiant personage told him that before he attacked Medusa, he must first be properly equipped, and that what he needed was in the possession of the nymphs of the north. To find the nymphs' abode, they must go to the Gray Women, who alone could tell them the way. These women dwelt in a land where all was dim and shrouded in twilight. No ray of sun looked ever on that country, nor the moon by night. In that gray place, the three women lived, all gray themselves and withered as in extreme old age. They were strange creatures indeed, most of all because they had but one eye for the three, which it was their custom to take turns with, each removing it from her forehead when she had had it for a time and handing it to another. All this Hermes told Perseus, and then he unfolded his plan. He would himself guide Perseus to them. Once there, Perseus must keep hidden until he saw one of them take the eye out of her forehead to pass it on. At that moment, when none of the three could see, he must rush forward and seize the eye and refuse to give it back until they told him how to reach the nymphs of the north. He himself, Hermes said, would give him a sword to attack Medusa with, which could not be bent or broken by the Gorgon's scales, no matter how hard they were. This was a wonderful gift, no doubt, and yet of what use was a sword when the creature to be struck by it could turn the swordsman into stone before he was within striking distance? But another great deity was at hand to help. Pallas Athena stood beside Perseus. She took off the shield of polished bronze which covered her breast and held it out to him. "Look into this when you attack the Gorgon," she said. "You will be able to see her in it as in a mirror, and so avoid her deadly power." Now, indeed, Perseus had good reason to hope. The journey to the Twilight Land was long, over the stream of ocean and on to the very border of the Black Country, where the Cimmerians dwell, but Hermes was his guide and he could not go astray. They found the Gray Women at last, looking in the wavering light like gray birds, for they had the shape of swans. But their heads were human, and beneath their wings they had arms and hands. Perseus did just as Hermes had said. He held back until he saw one of them take the eye out of her forehead. Then, before she could give it to her sister, he snatched it out of her hand. It was a moment or two before the three realized they had lost it. Each thought one of the others had it. But Perseus spoke out and told them he had taken it and that it would be theirs again only when they showed him how to find the nymphs of the north. They gave him full directions at once. They would have done anything to get their eye back. He returned it to them and went on the way they had pointed out to him. He was bound, although he did not know it, to the blessed country of the Hyperboreans, at the back of the north wind, of which it is said, "Neither by ship nor yet by land shall one find the wondrous road to the gathering place of the Hyperboreans." But Perseus had Hermes with him, so that the road lay open to him, and he reached that host of happy people who are always banqueting and holding joyful revelry. They showed him great kindness. They welcomed him to their feast, and the maidens, dancing to the sound of flute and lyre, paused to get for him the gifts he sought. These were three: winged sandals, a magic wallet, which would always become the right size for whatever was to be carried in it, and, most important of all, a cap which made the wearer invisible. With these, and Athena's shield, and Hermes' sword, Perseus was ready for the Gorgons. Hermes knew where they lived, and leaving the happy land, the two flew back across ocean and over the sea to the terrible sisters' island. By great good fortune, they were all asleep when Perseus found them. In the mirror of the bright shield, he could see them clearly, creatures with great wings and bodies covered with golden scales and hair a mass of twisting snakes. Athena was beside him now as well as Hermes. They told him which one was Medusa, and that was important, for she alone of the three could be killed. The other two were immortal. Perseus, on his winged sandals, hovered above them, looking, however, only at the shield. Then he aimed a stroke down at Medusa's throat, and Athena guided his hand. With a single sweep of his sword, he cut through her neck, and his eyes still fixed on the shield with never a glance at her, he swooped low enough to seize the head. He dropped it into the wallet which closed around it. He had nothing to fear from it now. But the two other Gorgons had awakened, and, horrified at the sight of their sister slain, tried to pursue the slayer. Perseus was safe. He had on the cap of darkness, and they could not find him. So over the sea, rich-haired Danae's son, Perseus, on his winged sandals sped, flying swift as thought. In a wallet of silver, a wonder to behold, he bore the head of the monster, while Hermes, the son of Maia, the messenger of Zeus, kept ever at his side. On his way back, he came to Ethiopia and alighted there. By this time, Hermes had left him. Perseus found, as Hercules was later to find, that a lovely maiden had been given up to be devoured